I stack silver as a hedge against inflation and to prepare for the impending collapse of the world fiat currency systems. It is my objective to be able to retain and transfer as much of my wealth as possible once the world monetary reset occurs. I believe that my silver stack will serve me well in this capacity. But ask yourself, are precious metals a foolproof method for retaining wealth? I wish I could say yes, but I just can't. There is no one answer that solves every question, and there is not a single investment path that anyone can say with 100% certainty will guarantee success. Out of all the options to retain wealth that I am aware of, I feel that precious metals, and specifically silver because it is so undervalued right now, is the right choice. Now, I am not very fond of playing the what-if game, but I feel that the critical thinking process requires it to ensure that one can be prepared for the unknown. I've been doing a little of this critical thinking lately and found myself pondering a few questions. So here are 6 questions that I think every silver stacker should ask themselves, along with my answers and opinions about each. First question. Where would I be if all or possibly a considerable portion of my silver stack were to be destroyed by a natural disaster event such as an earthquake, fire, or a flood? Would I be able to recover it? And if so, how? And when? Okay, the most obvious answer that came to me is something that I have already been implementing into my stacking strategy, and that is to geographically separate your silver into 2 or more locations depending on the amount that you've acquired. Having 2 or more portions of your stack in the same town or possibly even in the same state may not be sufficient. Consider the locations and determine if they are a probable floodplain, earthquake fault, or along a historically known hurricane or typhoon route. If they are, what can you do to protect your stack? In the case of a flood situation, obviously try to keep your silver high and dry. Place it in a waterproof container and stored in such a manner that it will not be washed away by strong currents which are associated with a flood situation. Make sure you securely anchor it to something that you feel won't get washed away. Earthquakes. Place your silver in a container that cannot be easily crushed if the building falls down around it, and then paint that container a bright yellow or orange so that it can be easily identified as you begin searching for it. If you're really high speed, you can buy an old aircraft transponder and place it in the container with your silver, and when it receives enough movement, it can be set up to send a specific signal that you can track with the appropriate receiver. And lastly, fire. Obviously, a fire-resistant safe would help. However, you can take additional measures by wrapping your silver containers or even the safe itself with fire-retardant materials such as these used for textiles. Or these fire-retardant materials used in buildings. Many of these items are not necessarily expensive and can provide considerable protection from extreme heat. Question number 2. What if my silver were to be stolen or confiscated? In this case, I think there are probably only 2 options. either steal it back or move on to an established financial survival plan that no longer includes your silver. Question number 3. What if I were forced to be geographically separated from my silver? I was thinking along the lines of if I were to be detained for some reason and sent to an internment camp. How would I be able to access my silver or be able to use it to help my situation? For this scenario, I have someone who I emphatically trust, who is not directly affiliated to me by family tree or in any way that could be easily connected to me via electronic data banks. We have predetermined plans established between us for exactly what to do when a specific situation occurs. This way, I know I can expect certain actions to take place and can confidently make further plans accordingly. As much as this creates a weak link in your stack's security, I believe that this has to be an acceptable risk to take, because if you are the sole person who knows where your wealth is and you suddenly die, it would be potentially lost forever, and then your stacking efforts would have been for naught. Question number 4. What would I do if a confidant who knew where some or all of my silver was located betrayed me and took it? Well, my rule is that you never divulge all your locations to a single individual, so theoretically, you will always have a portion of your wealth safe and secure. Question number 5. What if massive underground deposits of silver were discovered, let's say in Antarctica or anywhere, and silver ore starts flooding the world markets, causing the price of silver to crash? What could you do to prevent losing all your wealth? I believe there should be enough time to react to get your silver onto the market before prices seriously degrade. You just have to have situational awareness and stay on top of major world news events. Just being in our community should be sufficient to receive enough early warning so that you could initiate appropriate actions. Question 6. What if the government makes it so difficult to exchange silver for goods and services that no bullion dealer, local coin shop, or business will accept it? Okay, well, there will always be a black market, but it probably would be very dangerous, and everything would have ridiculously inflated prices, and a black market may not be able to offer you access to the goods and services you really need. So I believe you have to have several backup sources of wealth that you can exchange for goods and services. Perhaps you have a skill as a carpenter or plumber. Maybe you have a farm and you can exchange food. Perhaps water purification may turn out to be a valuable commodity. Being able to trade weapons and ammo, making wax candles, providing transportation for others by whatever means you have. Whatever you think of that might have value to others can be potentially exchanged for what you need. In summary, I am sure you would agree that, however unlikely, there are many possible scenarios that could result in every ounce of silver we currently hold to either be taken away from us or rendered worthless in some way. So I believe we have to be able to answer the question, how can I survive and retain my wealth without my silver stack? Are you prepared if any of these scenarios happen? What will you do if your silver were to become worthless or completely disappear tomorrow? I realize it would be a long shot, and I truly hope that it never happens, but I just can't ignore the possibility. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on the subject, so let me know in the comment section below. Good luck and keep stacking those precious metals.